Well, welcome to the High Stakes Customer Podcast, where we explore the people, the ideas, the experiences that help organizations build stronger relationships with their most important customers. I'm Adrian Davis, your host, and today's guest is Libby Souder. She's the Chief Executive Officer of the Strategic Account Management Association, or SAMA, as we refer to it. SAMA is the leading global community dedicated to advancing the practice of strategic account management. For more than 25 years, Libby has helped organizations strengthen customer engagement, build lasting partnerships, and create sustainable value, both for customers and companies. I was just checking my records, and I joined the SAMA community 12 years ago, April 2014. And so for more than a decade, I've been part of this incredible community, both as a member and as faculty, and recently also as keynote speaker. And one of the things that I value most about SAMA is its commitment to helping leaders better care for, cultivate, and grow their most important customer relationships. And I'd say that few people have a broader perspective on this mission than Libby Souder. She works every day with organizations around the world, and literally around the world, to strengthen strategic customer engagement and build sustainable account management programs. Libby, welcome to the High Stakes Customer Podcast.
Oh, thanks, Adrian. Well, I mean, you are definitely part of our success because we really are a community, and you are a very big part of it. So thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for being a guest here. And as I mentioned, I was looking through the records. April 2014 was when I first heard about SAMA.
Okay. Yeah.
I have been in the role of strategic account manager with several technology companies. At the time, Libby, I never heard of this association. Looking back, obviously our executive teams in those companies knew something about SAM. But I learned it organically. So I want to just explore with you the community and how you've built in your vision for it. But first, Libby, if you don't mind, what's your story? You've been a part of SAMA ever since I've known it. You're a pillar of SAMA. How did you come to SAMA yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I wish it was this grand, I had always had a passion for strategic account management, but I think back in the day, I was out of college and needed a job, and thought that meeting planning was going to be my passion. And so saw an ad in the paper and went, interviewed, and what is this Strategic Account Management Association? There were only 6 people that worked there at the time, and was hired for meeting planning and registration, and had a business degree, and just weirdly fell in love with the idea of strategic account management. And instead of following the path of meeting planning, although of course, we all do a lot of things at SAMA, I started just reading everything I could about strategic account management and getting into programming. And, I don't know why it just really stuck with me, but the idea of customers and suppliers coming together to create something cool that ultimately can help humanity as a whole, it is just really, really enthralled me. And so I just never stopped learning about it. And so that was kind of how I started and took off in a little bit of a different direction than originally intended.
Well, you have certainly been the backbone of the SAMA community. And I just love that you learned about this, you had a passion for it. And I love what you just said there, that it's about how companies can work with their customers to make the world a better place, to make it better for humanity overall. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. Now, it's always just stuck with me.
Yeah. So 25 years, Libby, is a
Mhm.
quarter of a century that you've been helping
Mhm.
this community and companies make the world a better place.
Yeah.
If you go back 25 years in time when you first joined SAMA to today, what would
Mhm.
you say the significant changes have been? And then maybe kind of corollary to that, what has stayed in place? What has remained the same? What has changed significantly? What has stayed
Yeah.
the same?
Yeah. Well, you know, obviously the technology piece, when I first started, we were telling people how to use, register online, use the internet versus a fax. And,
Wow.
now, which actually just makes me feel old. But really, now AI is the sexiest thing in the world. People are so interested, and it's but I think there's a parallel there. People know that AI is important. I think it's still a little bit of a mystery to them. They know that they should find out more about it. Some people are embracing it more, but AI. So I think it's the technology piece that evolves and has changed strategic account management. And that's important. That's absolutely
Yeah.
important. But I think at the end of the day, Sam is Sam is Sam. It is the core discovery process, the account planning, the strategic thinking skills are critical to Sam. And I think that if you look back on some of the topics that we offered 25 years ago, it's selecting the right accounts. It's
Hmm.
putting together a program. It is the importance of SAM specific training. It is the importance of strategic thinking and the importance of discovery. So it's, the more things change, the more they stay the same,
Wow.
I think holds true.
I love that. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And these fundamental principles that good SAM practice is founded upon, they'll never go away. And I like what you're saying there, that AI is a serious disruptor. And probably many chief executives, C-level executives are somewhat anxious about the future
Yes.
because of how rapidly everything is changing in every country and every industry. And yet, fundamentally, if we can select the right accounts, do deep,
Yeah.
substantive discovery, and then understand how we can co-create value together with our most important customers, there will always be a place for us. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that the bar for value has been fundamentally reset. And I think that, um, you know, SAMs need to be even more strategic in how they approach their customers. So that value piece is really fundamental to the role of every strategic account leader.
And I think, when I think of my career, Libby, I was given a business card that said strategic account manager, and it was a promotion. It felt great.
Yeah,
But to me, it was
yeah,
just sales at the next level. It wasn't really until I came into the SAMA community that it really became clear to me that I happened to do strategic account management
right.
kind of by accident. And because the
Yeah.
people above me, I think they had a sense of what it
Mhm.
was and how it was different from
Mhm.
sales. But my view was it was just sales on steroids.
Sure.
And I've been disabused of that since I came into the SAMA community to see
Yeah.
like, no, this is really different. There's probably a lot of sales executives out there, or executives out there that have sales teams that really don't know what SAM is. What would you say, sort of the fundamental uh, discipline of SAM is that differs from sales?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I think it's twofold. I think one is that it's how an account manager, I think, thinks about their customer. Are they thinking strategically? Are they moving beyond the product to help solve their challenges? Are they, really being that trusted advisor versus just discounting? Because I think a lot of times SAMs are under the impression that they are providing value because they might be discounting, or that they're, being strategic in ways, but not really co-creating value. But I also think that there's more of a program level involved too, that you really have to have a solid program where program leaders are picking very carefully who those most strategic customers are. And so I think it's in both of those areas. But even I think you can practice strategic account management even if you're not a SAM, because even someone at a regional level has customers that are very important to them and do things a little bit differently, and can act as that trusted advisor to not just make sure that they have the product, but really help them see the direction of where their business is heading.
Right on. And I think the other part of it that's interesting is just the role of the executives. So these executives are seeing perhaps that the future is somewhat uncertain, and they perhaps beginning to realize, no, we need to select customers more carefully. We need to engage them more carefully. But often they pay lip service to a SAM program. What are your thoughts there in terms of executive engagement?
It's absolutely critical. But what we're seeing is, while everyone says, oh yeah, executive engagement's critical, when we did some research last year, we found that only 52% of those that we did the research with had a formalized executive sponsorship program.
Wow.
And I think that difference is really important because, we know that people that are growth champions, when they play that role as executive sponsors, make a huge difference in the growth of the account. And if you don't have those, the right executives working with the account, if you don't have the C-level backing of it, it's really hard to navigate some of those internal struggles that you get. When you ask a SAM, is it harder to align internally or with your customer? Most of the time, they're going to say it's hard to align internally. And I don't know, Adrian, if you see the same thing, but that's been a theme that's been, I think, at SAMA for a long, long time.
I definitely see the same thing. In fact, many times they're so frustrated. They're like, I can't do my job because of the internal misalignments. And many times I have to explain to them, no, that is your job.
Right.
Like, don't just think it's about aligning with the external customer. Don't be frustrated. Well, you're going to be frustrated, but don't be surprised by the misalignment internally, and take that on as part of your challenge and part of your job.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really, really solid advice, because it can be frustrating. And that is actually what comes up again and again in our research as the number one barrier for SAMs, is that internal alignment, which again rolls back to your question about the role that executive alignment plays. It's really critical.
Right on. Again, just thinking back, when I was a SAM, just given a business card, the one thing I'll say, all of our executives were all in. When we came with a strategic need for the customer, they all ran interference for us, and they made sure that we got what we needed in order to co-create with the customer. But your research shows that not all executives are bought into the customer like this.
Well, I think that's really awesome that you experienced that, because when we talk to our members, what we hear is like, yeah, we have executive sponsorship, but we have some people that maybe shouldn't be executive sponsors. And it can be disastrous when you have the wrong executive sponsor, because, when you're picking an executive sponsor, you have to look at compatibility, their availability to do the job? Do they want to do it? Are they, great at breaking down internal barriers? Are they knowledgeable? Do they have good communication skills? Do they have those people skills? Are they great at coaching the teams? Are they results oriented? I mean, there's a lot of things, and people are just like, yeah,
right.
Go in.
You have an executive title, be a sponsor.
But it has to be a little more thoughtful than that to really get the results. So I think that's a great point.
So I think everyone is somewhat anxious about the future, AI, global disruptions, global conflicts.
Yes.
So the future is no doubt it's uncertain.
Yeah.
I think, and I know you would agree with me on this, that as far as business goes, making the customer the hero, aligning with their aspirations, enabling them to be successful is how we will be successful. And that's what the SAMA community does. And it's such an awesome community. I think I love talking to first timers at the conference.
Yeah.
They're always blown away. They didn't know the community existed. When they come, they're just like, wow. And they're all in. I just want to ask you this question, Libby.
Yeah.
When you think of the SAMA community and what it does to help leaders navigate the landscape of business and to succeed. If we fast forward 3 years from now, and that first timer is coming to a SAMA conference or getting involved in the SAMA community, what do you think will have changed? What are you hoping for? What are you hoping the SAMA community will mean to business leaders as they discover it?
Well, I think a lot of it will be the same. I think that what we're really great at doing is helping leaders get to results faster. And the way we do that, I think, is really special because we know where the experts are. You don't have to start at the beginning. You don't have to feel alone, because starting a SAM program or leading strategic account managers is really, really overwhelming. And so we create either a starting point, we create sustainability of programs, we create connectors so that you always have someone to benchmark with, to you might need a template. You don't have to recreate the wheel, because we are the best source for help globally. And I think that we can connect you to people that can meet you where you're at. So, sometimes people come to us and they're like, oh my gosh, we have to have so much money to start the SAM program. And it's not saying that you couldn't take that approach, but you might not be able to take that approach. Or you may just need someone to say, hey, how did you start your program office? Or, hey, how are you coaching your SAMs? Or what do you think the best competencies are for a SAM? And I think that we are just a really robust community, and it's something that we've been really proud of. And through our board of directors, through our faculty, our partners, our, academics, the practitioners, it's just a great group of people that have been there, done that are willing to share. And I think are probably the greatest group of people in the world, because they are so smart and really just great people in general.
And so generous. It's like everybody's on this journey.
Yes.
Everyone's figuring this out.
Yeah.
People who've been at this for decades are still figuring things out. People who are new to it need to figure, and everyone's just so generous.
And I think the learning never stops, because even when I think about the most mature companies, they are still going back to basics. And I always, looked at program leaders from, I would say, historically really mature companies. Those leaders are going to classes on account planning. Those leaders are because sometimes, those are things that are really, really important at the end of the day. Is when you go back to the basics and do what you say you're going to do, and go back to those account planning skills and the value co-creation skills and the discovery skills. So that always, it was always very surprising. But honestly, it's really key.
Well, I think, Libby, you're the chief executive of what I will say is one of the most important organizations, especially, I was going to say for humanity, but people might think that's hyperbole. Let me then say that for the business community,
Yeah.
that I think the future is uncertain. But I'm going to repeat what you just said. What's going to stay the same is our ability to connect as human beings, to connect with each other in the community, to connect with our customers, to enable people to do work that matters. And I think the SAMA community has been such a blessing in my life. I want to thank you for your leadership. Thank you for sharing your insights and perspectives with us today. And is there any final word you'd like to say before we close today?
Well, I think you summarized it correctly, as that it's that human piece of it, and the SAM is right in the center of it. And I think you have such a great message around it, and focus on those human skills, and bringing that trusted piece of the SAM out in what you teach and what you say, and that's really critical and a huge differentiator at the end of the day. And I'll say it again: SAM is in the center of all of this. And so thanks, Adrian, and thank you for your contributions and making the community as strong as it is.
Well, thank you so much. And we'll make sure that there's a link to the SAMA website so that people can find out more about you. Thanks for sharing your time, your expertise, your perspective with us. You've been listening to the High Stakes Customer Podcast, brought to you by Whetstone. At Whetstone, we help organizations strengthen customer engagement by turning strategy into everyday practice, helping leaders create greater value for their customers, their teams, and their business. This is the place where we explore how to better care for, cultivate, and grow our most important relationships. I'm your host, Adrian Davis. I hope you'll listen, revisit the conversations that resonate most, and join us again as we continue exploring what it takes to build trust, create value, and strengthen the relationships that matter most.